Now let's move on to the discussion of constants and variables. A data item is constant when its value cannot be changed while a program is running. So for example, here, system.out.println, again, if you can recall, if it's inside the double quote, the values inside the two double quotes are constant. These are constant, meaning to say, whenever the program runs, 459 cannot be changed anymore because it's constant. So whatever that is inside the double quote, those are constants. The variable, on the other hand, is a named memory location that can store a value. It can hold only one value at a time, but the value it holds can change. So let's say, for example, you initialize as x is equal to 0 here, and then at the later part of your program, you assign value to x. Let's say x is equal to 5. So meaning to say, from 0, from the value of x, which is 0, it can change to 5 so long as depending on the program that you have. So basically, the values or the assignments for the variable can change whenever the program runs. Unlike constant, even if the program is running, the constant value cannot be changed. Whether a data item is variable or constant, in Java it always has a data type. An item's data type describes the type of data that can be stored, how much memory the item occupies. So we have discussed this already from the previous slide. So basically, all the variables and constants should be declared with data type. Let's say int age, car name, something like that. So those are data types. In declaring variables, a variable declaration is a statement that reserves a named memory location and includes the following. This includes a data type that identifies the type of data that the variable will store. Let's say, for example, int. An identifier that is the variable name. So let's say age. An optional assignment operator and assign value if you want a variable to contain an initial value. So initial value, for example, is 0. An ending semicolon. So this is how we declare a variable. And I believe that you already know how to declare variables. Declaration of variable standards. In programming, there are also standards that we are following in the declaration of variable. A variable name must start with a letter and cannot be a reserved keyword. Reserved keyword, those are if or other keywords that we are using. Let's say switch. So meaning to say your variables cannot have these keywords here. And there are a lot of keywords, reserved keywords in Java. So it would be better that you just have to search those keywords in order for you to avoid using them as your variable. You must declare a variable before you can use it. So before we can use the age is equal to 5. So we have to declare first what is the age or what is the data type of the age. Java is strongly typed language, meaning that all variables must be declared before they can be used. Because if you use a variable without declaring it first, it would produce an error, right? Now, variable names conventionally begin with lowercase letters. Let's say age, age 1. So it conventionally starts with small letters to distinguish them from class names. And then if your variable has two words, you have to uppercase or you have to make the second or the first letter of the second word capital letter, like this one. This one is what we call camel casing. Camel casing beginning an identifier with a lowercase letter and capitalizing subsequent words within the identifier, just like this one. As you can see, it starts with small letter and the next word or the first letter of the next word is in capital letter. So this is the standard of declaring a variable using the camel casing. The equal sign here is called the assignment operator. Any value to the right, meaning to say this one, of the assignment operator is assigned to the memory location named on the left. So meaning to say 12 is assigned to the variable my age. So basically that's it for the variable. And for an assignment made when you declare a variable is an initialization. So here, it was initialized that the value of my age is 12. This is what we called initialization. An assignment made later is simply an assignment. This one is an initialization. This one, since we are done declaring the variable my age, and this assignment here is just called assignment. This is not initialization anymore. But if you assign value with the declaration, together with the declaration of your variable, that is what you called initialization. However, if you already used or if you have already declared the variable and you use the variable and assign a value to that one, that is just an assignment, not an initialization. You declare a variable just once in a method, but you might assign new values to it any number of times. When you declare a variable within a method, do not assign a value to it. It is an initialized value. So for example, if you are declaring this variable here without assigning any value, that is what we call the garbage value. If you are not assigning a value to the variable, again, that is called garbage value. Garbage value is an uninitialized variable that contains unknown value. Meaning to say, if you will not assign equals to 0 to my age, this would probably have a garbage value or any other values that would produce an error later on in your program. Declaring named constants. A named constant is also known as symbolic constant. In its declaration, a named constant is similar to a variable in that it has a data type, a name, and a value, but it differs in several ways. These ways are this one. In its declaration statement, the data type of a named constant is preceded by the keyword final, meaning to say, when we use the keyword final, it cannot be changed throughout the program. A named constant can be assigned a value only once, and then it cannot be changed later in the program. So unlike declaring variable, let's say we have x is equal to 0, in which the value of x can be changed throughout the program, let's say that would be equal to 5. Here in declaring named constants, you cannot change anymore. If you have declared x is equal to 0 already, you cannot change 0 anymore. If you do not initialize the constant at declarations, it is known as a blank final. So unlike in declaring variable, if you don't initialize value, that is called garbage value. Here in declaration of constants, that if you will not initialize a value for that one, that is named blank final. Example of named constants are this one. We have final. If you can see the keyword final, meaning to say this is already a named constant or constants. We also use the data type, but however, number of deaths is equivalent to 20, meaning to say number of deaths cannot change its value anymore. It's always 20. Final double pi, this one cannot be changed anymore, and as well as this one. So those are how we code constants and variables. I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll see you on the next videos.